We're back, people, and today we're breaking down film on Matt Skura, the newest Miami Dolphins practice squad offensive lineman. I think this is actually his second stint with Miami. I remember they signed him to like a contract a few years ago, and then I think he got released before he ever played a game with them. But on the offensive line, they definitely need some depth. He's playing left guard right here, but he is mostly a center. Most of his career he played center, so I think they're bringing him on just in case, get a guy back there. He actually kind of has a similar, I know people won't like this, but he has a pretty similar skill set to Eichenberg, like strength weaknesses wise. I don't think he's like the most. He's probably like an average athlete, below average play strength and anchor. But he's pretty technically sound and pretty smart with like his angles and aiming points. I like what he does in the run game. Just pretty smart player. Understands and like where he's supposed to be, and that's pretty solid. And then in pass protection, like he's technically sound. He'll win his reps one-on-one versus like average D tackles. But then if he faces any guy who's like above average athleticism, he'll probably get beat quite a bit by them. It's, that's why he's getting signed to the practice squad. I mean, I made a video on Harrison if you guys haven't seen that one yet. They're very different players, both centers, but they definitely have a there's a reason they're all, still available at this time of the year. They're just more brought in for depth just in case more injuries happen. To me, if the offensive line's healthy, it's going to look like Austin Jackson at right tackle, Armstead at left tackle, Robert Hunt at right guard, and then center and left guard where they have is where things could change. I think it's going to be Eichenberg at center, and then left guard will either be Robert Jones or Lester Cotton, depending on how the health of everyone. They just don't have any bodies right now. And I think if Eichenberg's healthy, he's going to be that center. But here's some good work from Skura. He does a good job of cutting things off and then just recognizing this linebacker, getting into this gap. He cuts off 91, and he sees 56 shooting downhill. Just boom, drop a body into him, get low. He plays with good pad level leverage, and that's how he'll create some movement. He struggles with his power more like in pass protection. Doesn't have a great anchor and stuff like that, but this is what you're looking for as a run blocker. He'll definitely bring some stuff to the table. He'd also do some stuff on the move. Like, Dolphins don't do a ton of pulling, especially in the running game. They typically do this more actually in pass protection. But it's something it's nice to see. Like, he's not going to create a ton of movement, but he does take good angles and aiming points to the point of attack. He'll maybe even get blown up by these types of players. Like, he even gets pushed back a little bit, but he gets his body on, slows them down long enough. Just pretty smart understanding of that, system. And he's coming from the Rams to McVay thing. Like, this is from McVay last year. This is 2022 film. And McVay runs some similar concepts to what the Dolphins do, so offensively he at least has an understanding a little bit of what they like to do. Here's kind of an example of lack of anchor versus a defensive tackle just one-on-one. Gets pushed back a little too far there. Like, it's not even poor technique. It's actually pretty good technique. He's resetting the hands. He's doing some good stuff there, but he just doesn't have that anchor to get it down, like right there. Once you get pushed back initially, boom, right there, I want to see him anchor. It's fine if you get pushed back right here. You don't be able to anchor, slow them down at that point, but he gets pushed back even more into your quarterback. The ball's coming out super quickly. That's not something where you want to rely with him too much on. In that Dolphins scheme, they've done a good job this year getting the ball out quickly and slowing down defensive linemen with a lot of their play action. That's something that the Dolphins are really going to have to rely on down this stretch. I do love his angle and aiming points. I love his reactive athleticism. Like, he's not a great athlete, but I do like how he reacts to what guys are doing and gets on good stuff. Because usually when you're pulling like this, to an end. We saw it earlier when you're pulling, they leave that guy unblocked like this. You're attacking that inside shoulder. This guy tries to dip under, and I like that he makes this adjustment to just get his hips across. He does a good job understanding the hips right there, squaring the guys up. He's playing with good pad level. He's bending at the knees. His feet are wide the whole time, and he makes that adjustment just based on that guy's leverage to get him there, and then it gives your running back a lane to work off of. That's good stuff, in my opinion. That's like where I could see him excelling. It's actually pretty similar to what Liam does well in the running game at guard is, and these are, guard films from what we both saw, but they both have more experience playing center than guard, so it could be even better at that position. Get your hips across. This is a very impressive play. Probably my favorite play I saw on his film. That is good hand usage, good nuance of the position. You think he might be reaching the guy like kind of head up on? No, it's this guy who's head up with the tackle. Being able to get your hips out there, explode off the ball, not super quick, but it's quick enough, and then get across with your head right there. Now you're squaring them up, and now your goal here, get your arm down, go high hand, low hand with that right, left, extend, and now you get those hips, use that hands to fight, and now you're just in a perfect position. This is great positioning. The guy's super low. You're getting low with him without falling to the ground. He's got pretty good balance, if that's where I would say his athleticism stands out, is he doesn't fall onto the ground too often, which I think is a big thing for an offensive lineman. Now, most of my favorite reps I saw in pass protection from him were picking up, like, stunts. That's what I like to see. I like to see an intelligent football player, especially if he's going to be playing center, That's kind of what you need from more of the center. You're more protected as a center than you would be at guard, so you can get away with some of the stuff that like the power and things like that. You're going against more nose tackles, which they do have power, but they usually aren't as explosive as pass rushers, so it's something you can get away. You have help on both sides depending on which way you're rolling, but he just picks this up, pass this off to your left tackle, throw it off with some violence there, pass it to 71, and then boom, get across. He stays square. Look how he's really good with his hands. I like that, and his base, his technique. He's just very technically sound, and it gives Stafford enough time to make a nice throw to the sideline. It's a very nice work. I'm just a fan of his game when it comes to things like this, being that technically sound. It's at least he has something that I would say is pretty good. Now, he has his athletic and physical limitations, which is why, he's on the practice squad. But if you did have to come in, you can at least see where he can be effective. Want to see him, have a decent rep in pass protection, just a true one-on-one. This is the stuff that I like to see. Just the resetting of the hands. He can recover. Guy attacks that inside half. He tries to, work back to the outside. He's matching him with his feet there. It's all just pretty good, under control. If he's not getting just physically dominated, he can have some good reps there. You'll see some reps later on where he goes against Chris Jones, and Chris Jones does, to be fair, dominate most guys he goes against, but you could see where he had to face like some top guys where you would definitely have some trouble and have to give him some help. Another running game rep, and who knows, Skura might never even see the field. You never know. But with how this season's going, with all of the offensive lineman injuries, there's maybe a chance. He's on the practice squad. You can elevate these guys, but just wanted to show what he's capable of. This is just from last season, so it's not, too terrible. It's definitely an option. Just in the running game, positioning, get your hips across. You get engaged with this guy. Both guys have a chance to make a play at this point in this play. Everything looks good from a technical standpoint for both players, and now he just, boom, keeps fighting. He's straining to get his hips to this position. That's exactly what he wants, to help open up his lane and make the read easier for his running back, and he does. And that's where, Skura does have a nice understanding of the game in those specific plays. The stunts, man, he really does a good job recognizing these, and this one's, a little more later to recognize, and he gets a little overpowered, but just still able to getting your body in front is still impressive enough. He passes it off pretty violently, still sees it through this, good eyes to find it, and then gets his positioning back. Now he gets pushed back a little too far, falling off balance. I do like that he stays on his feet, which is good for how far he was getting pushed back, but yeah, this is a good rep to show, you can see the strengths, understanding, technically sound, pretty good technique, good processing of the stunt, but then getting kind of physically dominated and forcing the running back or the quarterback to escape the pocket. Here he gets a one-on-one with Chris Jones. It's not super pretty, gets pushed back a lot. You can see him trying to anchor. He even gets tripped over here by this guy. But it's not the worst rep ever for it being going against Chris Jones. You can see he's fighting. I do like that he's, fighting out there, straining. He's throwing some fake jabs too, getting caught off balance a little bit, kind of recovering. He gets pushed back a little too far. He goes to his knees. The rep could have been much better, but when you're going against Chris Jones, at least you get a true one-on-one. It's not the worst rep I've ever seen. Now, this is where he really just gets beat by Chris Jones. He struggled with the physicality, the play strength. He can also just get beat by just pure athleticism and great pass rushing building, because Chris Jones is an absolute freak of nature. He's not the most athletic guy. He can lose to these guys down here. I've seen him, a couple of Skura's trouble reps came against, they matched up either more of an edge linebacker type, and he struggled with some athleticism. Guys that are super powerful or super athletic, he's going to struggle with. Gets a little overextended edge, boom, beat him to the point of attack, and he's not quick enough to recover and get back into positioning. Last play that we're going to break down, here we see him go against one of those edge linebacker type, Karlaftis, who's not the most explosive, bendy edge rusher type. He matches up pretty well versus Karlaftis, so he wins this rep pretty nicely. He's able to stonewall him because he's not, super powerful, super athletic, just more of a, average type of rusher, and he's able to match him. Good footwork, good base technique, all around pretty savvy stuff from Skura. That's where he's going to make his money. But yeah, more of a run blocker, and then in pass protection, he does better work for stunts than anything else. He might never see the field, but just, got to make these videos just to show the guys that they're signing, bring to the field. I didn't think I'd be making 2 videos on Jonathan Harrison and Matt Skura today, but here we are, and it's actually pretty fun. Very different players, different play styles. I'm surprised that they went with Harrison on the main roster and Skura on the practice squad a little bit. Not surprised, but I actually thought it would be the opposite way around, just knowing their experiences within the similar schemes, and I just think Skura is a slightly better fit. But we'll see how it ends up working out. Both have center experience. Could see playing time this week, one of them at least, if Eichenberg doesn't go. So if you enjoyed the video, comment, subscribe, peace.